Hey, what's up everyone? JJ here and welcome back to the channel. This week my family is heading to the Disney parks, so I thought this was the perfect time to grab the Lego Disney Castle to do a proper review in between packing. Now this is the Disney Castle from 2023. It was a remake from an earlier release 2016 set. I hadn't bought the original one because I try to stick to Harry Potter as well as minifigures, but this one came with a lot of cool, unique minifigures, so it was just enough to pull me in. Now in this video, we will look at those minifigures, we'll look at the build techniques used for the exterior of the castle, and we'll look at the interior as well. And there's a lot of really cool hidden designs within this castle. If you did not know, in April of this year, so just a few weeks, Lego is releasing a Disney Beauty and the Beast castle. So at the end of this video, we'll take a look at those pictures as well. But let's jump right in and take a look at this set. All right, here is the 2023 Lego Disney Castle. Now this set had 4,837 pieces, so about 800 pieces more than the previous version. It has 8 minifigures, 4 princesses and their princes. It is set 43222 and it retailed for $399.99 in the US. And as you can see, it is a tall set, pretty much taking up the entirety of my light box here. In fact, if we look up here, that little flag is really pushing the top up there, but it is a great set. They do a really nice job capturing what Cinderella's castle looks like at Disney. So let's take a look at some of these minifigures and build techniques now. Of course, this set gives us Snow White and Prince Florian. This is definitely one of the reasons I bought this set. This is a minifigure I really wanted in my collection. It's since, of course, been released with Snow White's cottage. However, at the time when this was first released, this is the only opportunity to get her. Each of these figures has an alternate facial expression. I really like the facial expression here for Snow White. That hairpiece is just a 10 out of 10. They did such a good job with that. And, you know, Prince Florian looks fine. The hairpiece is rather generic, but I don't know if you needed to make a new piece for this prince. Next up is Cinderella and Prince Charming. For Prince Charming, I really like that they used the Fred Jones hairpiece, but in black instead of yellow. And I like the printing there on the torso. Again, Cinderella, they did a great job, especially kind of utilizing the hairband to kind of create those earrings. They did a good job with her arm and dress printing as well. I like both the alternate face prints. Cinderella's kind of both seem pretty similar, actually. They're not starkly different. However, I like Prince Charming's kind of side smirk. Cinderella is a minifigure I'm surprised that we haven't gotten more of in other sets, so I'm still curious if she's going to be released in additional sets in the future. And next up is Princess Tiana and Prince Naveen. I really like both these minifigures. I love the face print and expression for Naveen especially. My only qualm with Princess Tiana is she was released in the newest Lego Disney CMF series, and the minifigure was identical. I just wish they would have given her a different outfit either here in the castle or with the CMF series. And I do like both of their over-the-top happy expressions here on the alternate face print. And I really like the hairpiece they used for Naveen. I think that works really well for the character. And the last two minifigures are Rapunzel from Tangled as well as Flynn Rider. Again, I think they did a great job with these figures. Lots of good detailing on the torso as well as the arms. I like the hairpieces they used for both of these characters. And here, just so we can see some more detailing of Rapunzel's hairpiece with some of the flowers there inside. And I do like the alternate face print for both Rapunzel as well as Flynn Rider. And I do want to say one thing that I think makes these minifigures really strong is some of that arm printing. That's kind of a really newer thing we're seeing in a lot more figures. Of course, there's a lot of detailing there for Rapunzel and Snow White, but even just kind of the dual coloring there we see for the sleeves for Tiana and Cinderella, I think really elevate this minifigure. All right, now that we've looked at the minifigures, let's take a look at the castle wall build, especially the exterior portion. Now, looking at the design of the castle, there really are two main levels. First, of course, we see the blue exterior walls here, and then kind of this peachy color that kind of has some of the different towers throughout that kind of stand much thinner and taller. Here's kind of the outline of where those tannish peach color tower stands, and we're able to completely remove it from the base. Alrighty, and here we can see those two parts of the castle side by side. On the left there is the base, which is the light blue color. And then of course we see this, peach tan color for the higher parts of the tower and castle. This is a cautionary tale. If and when you are ever moving this castle, you definitely want to carry it from the bottom. If you're ever going to put any pressure on it from the side, definitely make sure that's the side of the blue, because this top tower, it can slide right off if you're holding it, and the bottom half of your tower will crash and fall and no longer be a Lego set. It'll just be Lego pieces. I very narrowly avoided this happening the first time I tried moving this castle, so I was very happy that that did not happen, as it would probably still be in pieces somewhere in my house today. So the bottom half of this castle was actually a really fun build. As you can see, there's these various rounded towers on the castle, and you kind of build each of these kind of individually and then place them on. And you can see some large pieces are actually used. We don't see that a ton with Lego anymore, but it's kind of a lot for this set. Here on the left wall, you can see what I mean, where there's just these two large blue pieces with a few others surrounding it. And we're gonna see that, again here in the middle, both sides of the middle, and then we also see it here on the other side of the tower. One thing I do really like about this build is kind of all the gold embellishments that they're included throughout. And so even though we're seeing a lot of blue, there's some really cool symmetrical build techniques that are utilized in this base part of the castle. And here's where you can see what I mean. You kind of see one of these towers. You can see kind of these gray pieces here. And then when you get to the top of the tower, you can see some of the build techniques here with the gold and the different shades of blue. And we're gonna see that on each of these towers. Now, one thing I really like is we look at the right side. It actually transitions. There are three of the rounded tower, and then we also see this one square tower. That's usually where I put Rapunzel there at the top, but it is cool to see kind of a change of the build technique here. And of course, the most iconic part of this lower build is of course kind of the entryway here into Cinderella's castle, where we can also see the clock kind of right up there. What is cool is while there are some sticker pieces, as we can see here, this is actually right here a printed piece. So it's nice that there's some prints included. And we also see the print there for Cinderella's clock there kind of at the top. Now, we're not going to zoom in and look at all the different details in the castle quite yet, but I do want to show you kind of what it looks like from the back. It is open, so there's not going to be closed here on the back. And as you can see, there's just various hallways. They kind of have different scenes displayed. But I do want to take a moment to kind of look at the top portion of this castle. Of course, like I said before, there's the outline where the taller, larger tan peach part of the castle goes. But it is interesting that there's quite a bit of distance between where that peach part of the castle stands as well as the rest of the castle. And so you have the opportunity to really add some minifigures here. I know sometimes at Disney World they have lots of different characters kind of greeting you from Cinderella's castle, and so I throw a lot of my CMF series on my display with the Disney castle. All right, so now let's take a look at the rest of the castle, kind of the top portion of the castle, which stands quite skinny and quite tall. Looking here at the bottom, there were some interesting build techniques, especially to kind of create some of these kind of more flat levels. You can see kind of on this portion, of course, we see a lot of those larger corner pieces combined. But once again, I really like the detailing, utilizing the gold. And we see some of these pieces I didn't know were made in this color, and they probably were just for this set. The designers did a really nice job kind of continuing some of the blue roofing that we saw from the bottom portion of the castle, which kind of is the connection point for the blue on the bottom and kind of this peach color on the top. And then, of course, as it continues up, we see more and more intricate gold builds. And it's neat because there's lots of different pieces that are utilized in that gold color just to create various embellishments and details. And while I ultimately chose this castle over the 2016 version for the minifigures, I actually quite like the color change that we saw at Walt Disney World with Cinderella's castle. Kind of a transition away from kind of that gray and more to that blue and this peach color. I think works really well. And in just a moment, we're going to take a look at the interior parts of this build. But again, I want to show you that it is opened here on the back. So it is not closed up. And it is cool because you're able to kind of put characters. For instance, like in this window is where I put my duplicate Sleeping Beauty from the CMF series. And then, of course, if you did not notice, there are some fireworks for the Happily Ever After show, or whatever it's called now at Walt Disney World. All right, now let's take a look at some of the little hidden details throughout, as well as the builds for the interior of the castle. Now, of course, it's Cinderella's castle, so I've already pointed out the clock, kind of representing the midnight ball for Cinderella. Here on the outside of the moat, of course, we see a frog, which I'm assuming is a reference to the Princess and the Frog. And then here on the side, we see quite a few leaves kind of blowing in the wind for Pocahontas' Color of the Wind. Now, looking at the main part of this kind of base level, it's going to be a giant dance floor. There is a play feature, kind of when you spin this, you can make two characters in the center dance. And here we can see I put Cinderella and Prince Charming. You can add any characters that you want, and there can be plenty kind of off to the side as well. And what I really like is in this kind of dance hall part of the castle, there are 4 murals, one for each of the princesses that came with this set. So, of course, first we can see Princess Tiana with the Princess and the Frog. Next up is kind of the drawing or mural for Cinderella. Here we can also see for Snow White, and I like the inclusion of those various animals in her portrait. And last, of course, we can see Rapunzel and from Tangled here on the right. In this side tower to the left, we're going to see 3 references. There on the top, of course, we see a pumpkin, a reference to the pumpkins in Cinderella. Here we're going to see a sticker piece for a Chinese dragon, as well as a sword for Mulan. And while this is a silly build, I think it's supposed to represent Lumiere from Beauty and the Beast. If there's another candelabra character that you know of, let me know.
Okay, so I actually had to look this up because I found Lumiere in a higher up room. This is supposed to be the Dingle Hopper from The Little Mermaid. I don't love it. I don't know why it's supposed made to kind of look like a candlestick or candelabra. I wish it was more on a seashell or something. But so that is to represent the Little Mermaid. Then moving over to this side hallway, we have the Sword and the Stone. And I don't know if you can see it, but this hallway actually is really deep and does connect to the front entrance. So it goes kind of behind the walls that have those portraits. So you can put a lot of stuff back there if you want to create some additional kind of Easter eggs hidden throughout your castle. And then similarly here on the other side in that long hallway, we have a reference to the Sorcerer's Apprentice from Fantasia, where you can see kind of the mop as well as the bucket. And what's cool is there's actually some water there kind of seeping in, which is a cool little design feature.
Now, there aren't too many additional Easter eggs or details here at the top. The only thing really is, of course, that crown. I'm guessing that's just a reference to Cinderella's crown, but I'm not actually certain. If you know if that's supposed to be something different, let me know. And my only complaint is I actually wish they would have removed one of these trees and done a little build for a wishing well for Snow White. I think that would have looked quite nice here on the side of the castle. Now let's take a look at the rest of the castle, kind of the peach tan color, and see kind of what rooms they have here.
Of course, we get both the kitchen as well as the dining table for Beauty and the Beast. And as you can see, there is a candlestick here, which looks a lot more like Lumiere, which is why I'm not really certain what that other candlestick is supposed to represent. There's also a cabinet here with the dishes. And again, I'm pretty sure that's Mrs. Potts. I wish there was printing there on the face of the tea kettle, but there's not, which is okay. And then I'm guessing one of those is Chip, although again, there is no actual Chip in the design. I'm really happy they're releasing Belle's Castle only because I still don't have Belle in my collection as like a minifigure, and I don't have Gaston either because I did not buy the Disney villain bookend, so that'll be a good way to get both of them. And I was impressed with all the minifigures that are coming with that set. Further up, we have Rapunzel's room, and we know that because, of course, there's some paintbrushes, but of course, we can also see the window there with all of the lanterns, and that is a sticker piece. This next room is kind of a hodgepodge of a few Disney princess and films. On the left, of course, we see that tapestry of Maui with an oar for Moana. Of course, we see a genie lamp with, a blue gas coming out for the genie, as well as the magic carpet. And then there is a bookshelf with that rose from Beauty and the Beast. So a lot of Beauty and the Beast references. Now on the top here, there is a bed, and I actually think this is supposed to represent that like secret exclusive room that is in Cinderella's castle at Walt Disney World, but it could also represent Sleeping Beauty, or kind of both of them, because the next build here is going to be the spindle from Sleeping Beauty. And one thing that's cool about Sleeping Beauty's spindle here is you can actually kind of twist it, and you get some of kind of that green gas or magic from Maleficent. Moving a little further up, we have the magic mirror from Snow White. It is a sticker piece, and you can tell because I put mine on crooked. And further up, we have a display for Cinderella's glass slipper here, which is nice. And then the last tall part is kind of an area to stand a character. Now, I put my Sleeping Beauty because I have doubles of her from the CMF series with her owl, but you can put any character that you want, or characters, and then of course that just leads kind of to the top spire here in gold for the castle. But one of the coolest Easter eggs is actually what's hidden underneath this tower. If you remove it, there are going to be some kind of hidden references here to early Disney. We see kind of this old school movie player, and notice how it kind of looks like Mickey ears. There is this printed piece with Steamboat Willie, and also a silver magic wand. I'm guessing that's supposed to represent Tinkerbell, or kind of just, the Disney magic in general. All in all, I think the Disney Castle is a really fun set. I think the designers did a great job kind of creating all the different detailing and making it look really massive without being too overwhelming on a shelf. It is an odd shape and it's pretty deep here, but kind of some of the front portion of this build kind of go over the ledge of a shelf, for instance, because it's not like a lot of weight there, which is kind of what mine has to do to fit on my shelf. And Lego Disney has been releasing a lot of really awesome sets recently, with Lilo and Stitch coming out in March of this year, and then the Beauty and the Beast Castle coming out next month in April. What are some additional Disney sets that you hope that they make? My favorite films are Peter Pan, Hercules, as well as The Great Mouse Detective, and I'm pretty happy with the Peter Pan set we got, so I wouldn't mind a Hercules set, though it seems unlikely. And just minifigures of The Great Mouse Detective would be more than enough. I don't even need a proper set to be happy. And here we can see the Beauty and the Beast castle. It's retailing for $279.99 in the US. It does say releasing April 4th, but it's actually available to LEGO VIP members April 1st through 3rd, which if you're not a member, it's free, so you should just sign up to kind of earn points. I really like the build and design of this set. I like some of the detailing there on the front, especially kind of like those little pillars there next to a Belle and Beast. I like the colors they're using as well. This makes it really different from the Cinderella's castle we already have from Disney. And I like some of the detailing and embellishments we see here with the photos, but I definitely want to see them in person at the Lego store to see kind of how many of those are stickers versus prints versus kind of, more brick-built pieces. But it's obviously all Beauty and the Beast here. Now, it is advertised as having 10 minifigures, which is fine, except it's 5 minifigures. I mean, those other 5 guys in the middle, especially Chip, for instance, there's no way we can call that a minifigure. But this set looks really awesome. I'm excited to pick it up.
Thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to stay updated with LEGO leaks, rumors, news, and reviews, hit the subscribe button down below, but I will see you all next time.